Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're in an open field, which might seem weird, but I'm gonna practice some form stuff today, and I'm also gonna talk about some beginner stuff too. So let's get into it. Alright, guys, so we're just gonna be throwing in this field over there. There's also a nice little rainbow. I don't know if that's coming through on the camera, but it was raining over there. It might be coming over here, so I'm not sure how long this video is gonna be, so we'll just get into it. So the first thing that you should always do before throwing ever, and this is just a, kind of a no-brainer tip, but stretch. I did something to my shoulder on Sunday, and it's still hurting a little bit, so I'm going to stretch it out today and take some light throwing and see what happens and see if it feels any better or not. But definitely, when you play disc golf and you're playing sports in general, it's popping, it's weird. I would say definitely just listen to your body. If it's telling you, like, hey, I'm really hurting, don't go push it. But I feel okay, so let's give it a shot. So we are going to also start by throwing putters and mid-ranges. So putters and mid-ranges are probably the best discs to throw when you're first starting out in disc golf. Oops, am I missing a disc? No, I'm not. There it is. They're the best discs to start off with when you're starting to play disc golf, because it's going to teach you and show you the things you are doing. I don't want to say incorrectly, but it's going to show you form things that you can fix better than faster discs, because it's always going to be easier to see your mistakes with a slower disc that you can get up to speed better. So I'm also going to throw some light shots just to start off, but then we'll actually get into talking about some form things. So I'm just going to take a couple shots, and I'll pick the ones I think look the best, and maybe a couple of bad ones too, just so you guys can see what I'm working with. So that one wasn't too bad. A little wide right, I kind of pulled it, but I pulled it onto a hyzer, so that's not totally bad because it will keep swinging back. Again, I'll talk about some of these vernacular things in a little bit. I'm just kind of wanting to warm up. Oh, that was a rip. That felt great. Woo! Fan favorite Texas Ranger. Here we go. It's probably one of my favorite discs that I have in the bag right now. Like, I love this thing. Ooh, I yanked and got a little over on it, but wow, that's far. Okay. Oh, come on, hyzer. Not bad though. All right, cool. There's first round throwing. Shoulders feeling okay. Let's keep it up. All right, guys. Went and collected those first couple shots there. I just wanted to measure them just for fun. I mean, I wasn't really trying to kill it. I wasn't really trying to go for a lot of distance. I just wanted to see how my shoulder would feel. I think I went a little hard on a couple of those that I probably shouldn't have. A couple of the putters went about 250-ish. It's not super good, but a couple of them were really low. One of them was the Dillo, which is the 1-speed, so it's not meant to go very far. The bending I threw really low. That probably had a better chance of going 300. I actually got some air under it. Mid-ranges went a little over 3. The Texas Ranger went 330, which is pretty good. I did kind of yank that a little bit, though, so I'd like to see if I could get that to be more of a consistent, like, straight, flat shot. I did kind of pull over on it a little bit, but not too bad overall for the first go of everything. I'll probably throw all these again, just as another warm-up, and then I'll get actually into talking about some terms and form things, and we'll kind of start actually getting into the meat and potatoes of this video. All right, guys, so I went through all those discs again. I measured them, and instead of throwing a fan grip like I did for the first round, I threw power grip, and there was really not much of a difference. I think I also misreleased a bunch of those. Form still needs work, but it's okay. So let's talk about some vernacular things. So obviously, when I say fan grip, I'm talking about how I hold the disc. And there's multiple ways to do it, and no way is 100% correct and 100% wrong. So usually as a guide, people say, I'm going to walk into the camera here. Usually as a guide, people say that you should kind of focus on when you put your thumb and your pinky together, that little crease that gets formed is where you should kind of fit the disc, and then roll it into the gap between your pointer and middle finger here, and then you wrap around, and there's your grip. So that's just a rule of thumb. Everyone does a little something a little bit different. Mine actually sits, it feels most comfortable to me when it sits a little bit lower, so I can actually get like a nice wrap around and hold on with this, my pointer finger, because otherwise it feels like it's a little bit loose in my hand. But I might actually give that a shot and just see how it feels, because maybe I'll actually switch to that. Maybe it'll work better. So the most common grip to use is a power grip. So in your hand, all 4 fingers are tucked into the rim like this. Thumb over top of where your pointer finger is, so not so close to the rim and also not super deep in here, somewhere in here that just fits comfortable. And then with pressure, I like to think of it as like a golf grip. In golf, they say that you should be holding your club like a baby bird. You want to make sure it doesn't get away, but you also don't want to crush it to death. So I've also heard it used as like a nice firm handshake, but not like you're trying to kill the other person's hand. So anywhere in that, I think your body's response is, hey, I'm holding on to something, I'm not going to want to let it go as you're pulling through. Because some people say that you should hold it like with a death grip. And like, yes, the harder you grip it, the more it's going to want to rip out of your hand and the faster it's going to do so because there's more resistance against it. But at the same time, you also don't want to like do that and then also rip it way right, because then that's not going to help anybody. So for grip wise, I think like a nice firm handshake and then let the disc pull out of your hand. You're releasing the disc, because all the momentum from you being here and stopping your momentum, and as you flick through the shot here, it's going to want to eject from your hand where you're holding it. So for me, that's between these two, for my pointer finger and my middle finger is where I feel it want to rip out most, and you should be leaving your pointer finger last, and it should just snap out. That's why when you hear really good people throw the disc hard, you hear an audible pop noise as the disc is leaving their hand, because they're just getting that much inertia and that much spin and force out of the shot that it rips out of their hand that fast. I am not there yet, but I would like to be one day, because that'd be cool. So yeah, so that's the basics on grip. Either fan grip, my fan grip actually I didn't talk about yet, is going to be modified. So I still have these 2 fingers tucked in like a power grip, but I stick this finger out and I keep my pointer finger is not so much in the rim as it is kind of pushing on the flight plate of the disc, which is this part here. And then my thumb is kind of pushing in between my middle finger and my pointer finger pressure-wise. And the only thing that this does is it forces me for better angle control when I'm throwing, and it also helps me kind of slow, like down tempo the disc without having to change my form. So if I don't want to throw it quite as far or have a really technical shot that I really need the disc to go a certain amount of distance and then either go left or right depending on the disc, this is the kind of shot, like this is the grip that you want to start, that I would like to start with anyway. Some people just stick to the standard power grip for everything, and they are really good at down tempoing their shot and everything and really like shaping shots. I'm not that good yet, so I switch between these two depending on what's feeling more comfortable and what's working better. And then the fan grip will be for like also specific shot shapes. Like if I'm really like want to throw this flat, I'll usually go with something like this if distance isn't important, just so I can make sure I'm actually hitting that flat angle of release. But yeah, so that's the basics on grip. Next we'll talk about angles of release. That one's going to be a little bit more in-depth, so hopefully I can kind of shorten it down so that this video doesn't become like a half hour of me just talking about how to make these things fly better. Alright, so angles of release. So there are 3 different main pillars of angles. Obviously there are degrees of difference between all of them that you can also hit, but the main 3 are going to be a hyzer angle, which as a right-handed person means that the disc is going to be going out of my hand at this angle and will make it travel usually straight and then fade to the left. As a rule of thumb, as a right-handed person, any disc I throw is going to go straight-ish somewhere and then finish left. That's just how the spin and centrifugal force of the disc works. As a lefty, it would go straight and then finish to the right. Forehand, like this, which I didn't talk about in grip, but we can do a separate video on forehands later. I'm not really good at my forehand yet, so I would like to actually get that in a better place before I start trying to teach people how to do it. But as a right-hand person, a forehand is going to finish to the right like a left-handed backhand throw would, and for left-handers, a forehand would finish to the left like a right-handed backhand would go. So just as a rule of thumb, that's normally how discs will fly. Now you can manipulate those and throw in different angles. So hyzer is going to take it left. For me, as a right-handed backhand, is going to take it left. Throwing flat will get a disc to fly straighter most of the time if it's a what we would consider a stable disc. It will fly straight for a while and then finish left. And if I throw it on anhyzer, which would be on this angle here, it would start to go right first, and depending on how stable or understable the disc is, will pan out and finish left, or will continue going to the right. All right, so next we're going to talk about stability of discs. So what I mean by stability is how overstable or understable a disc is. And what those terms mean is how hard it's either going to finish to the left as a right-handed person, or how likely it is to actually fade in the opposite direction and go right, throwing as a right-handed person backhand. So we'll use the Benny here as an example. So this is a putter. So it's going to be a little bit thicker in terms of rim depth and a little bit blunter here. The rim width is very small, so it's not meant to go very far. It's meant for shorter shots toward the basket or putting the disc into the basket. So as you can see, the Benny here is a 3402. So the scale that most disc companies use for rating their discs on stability is this 4-number combination here. Before I get into it too far, I will say this. This is not a perfect science. Disc manufacturers do many different things. Oh, there's deer back there. Disc manufacturers do many different things in the process of molding and making discs. And the plastic type even sometimes will change the flight of the disc. So this is what I would consider a great starter guide on trying to understand how a disc will fly. It will give you a great baseline idea, but until you actually throw it, I wouldn't take this for like a definite, like, this is not like life or death law. Like, this all changes. But it's a good frame of reference. So 3 is the speed. The first number in this 4-digit thing is speed. So this being a 3 speed would make sense because it is a putter. It's not meant to go very far. It's also a little bit more blunt here, so it's not as aerodynamic. Words are hard. And it won't go as far. The 4 number here, that second number, is glide. So glide is the ability for the disc to trap air underneath it, underneath the rim and the flight plate, which is this is the flight plate, this part here. How likely it is to trap air underneath the disc itself, which will help carry the disc farther. So again, being a putter, this will have some glide on it because it is a little bit deeper, but it's not going to have a ton of glide because it's a very slow speed. So these 2 numbers usually coincide with how far a disc will fly. The second 2 numbers are going to be how a disc will fly, like what it will do in the air after it's thrown. So this 3rd number here, that is going to be your turn. So turn means the likelihood of the disc when thrown flat to go either, for me as a right-handed person, to go right rather than go left. So being a 0 means it's going to be pretty straight. So if I threw this, in a perfect world, if I threw this flat that way, it would continue straight and not really deviate to the right very much. As a base right now, it would go very straight. And then this second number here, the fade, that number coincides with how the disc will end its flight. So as a right-handed person, my disc will always finish left. So that number indicates how hard it's going to finish to the left. So these 2 numbers going together means it's going to fly pretty straight, and then kind of finish a little bit to the left, and not super hard, but a little bit more to the left than it would. I'm going to throw this and see if I can get that flight out of this disc. If I don't, I will say I did, and you won't actually see me throw the disc. Okay, I actually kind of got the flight a little bit. It was a little bit low, but I got the flight. So it pushed straight for a decent little bit and then finished left. Not super hard left, but it did finish left. So that it kind of is how you, as a baseline, understand what discs do and how they should fly when thrown. All right, guys. Well, I think that's all I really have to share in this video. That's a pretty good start. Once I really get my backhand and my forehand form dialed down, I'll actually do a video where I talk about that more in depth, and like really break down that and how I approach things and my form and things like that. I mean, I'm constantly working on my form, and I might start talking about it in the next video maybe. But I would really like to get nailed down what I do first before I start trying to tell other people things that I would suggest doing. Because you can probably tell from my form that it's not consistent. It's kind of all over the place. But I'm going to keep throwing some shots, and I'll probably just like overlay some music over top of it. Just enjoy. It's going to be me practicing for a little bit. This is going to be a shorter video anyway. So yeah, so thank you guys very much for watching. I'm going to keep throwing some shots here. I'll probably pick and choose a couple really good ones, and then I will wrap out the video. That's going far. Not where I was aiming, but that went very far. That was pretty good. That's pretty good. That was a good shot. Yo, what's going on, guys? So this is post throwing in the field. My phone decided to die on me as I was filming the outro, so I'm going to do it now. So thank you guys very much for tuning in today. I hope you guys got something out of the grip and angle control talks that we had earlier. I will be filming a video on forehand and backhand form soon to really give you the full breadth of information for anyone who's just looking to get started into disc golf. So, you know, I hope you guys took something away from it. I hope that it gets you hungry to learn more, because this is a great sport and I really want to see it grow. And if I can have some small impact in that, that'd be awesome. So normal YouTube stuff. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment down below. Anything you want me to talk about, anything you want to see from the channel. Also, drop a like, I wish I already said. Sorry. Subscribe, ring the notification bell so you don't miss any new uploads from me. Subscribing really helps me see who I'm reaching, and really I like to see the channel grow. I know I'm really small, I'm not really reaching a ton of people right now. But the idea is to get big enough that I reach enough people to build a really solid community and get people out playing a great sport. So thank you very much. I hope you all have a great evening, day, morning, whenever you're seeing this. Love you all. Peace out.